We're going. God, that was loud.
Okay.
You guys are going to get a noise complaint.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Hotfix podcast, and we're in person today.
Sláinte!
Welcome to Hotfix, the weekly podcast that dives into the fascinating world of streaming, gaming, and esports. With your hosts, Brant Vladichuk and Jeremy Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8 of the Hotfix podcast. Thank you guys for returning. Brant, it is so nice to see you.
This is nice. This is way better than staring at my blank computer monitor.
It was weird. It was weird going back and watching the episodes and then reacting to something you would say as if you were there.
Yeah, and for behind the scenes, for all the remote episodes, we could not see each other.
Yeah, it was like being on the phone with your mom.
Because our cameras are being used by OBS to record our face, and then
Right.
we put our faces on later. So it was really strange.
It was actually like having a phone call.
Yeah.
Like it was really strange. So like to have those genuine reactions to things was, God, it was so weird. I hope it never happens again.
Yeah. I hope another pandemic doesn't hit us.
Ideally, another pandemic does not hit us. That's for sure. But yeah, it's really nice to actually be able to be back face to face and be able to do this. That's why we're celebrating. That's why everything is a mess. It has nothing to do with Brent not cleaning his apartment.
No. My apartment is always immaculate.
Spick and span.
It's also episode 8, which is 2 months.
Congratulations.
So just like anybody in a very good relationship, you celebrate your 2-month anniversary.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Side note, for every time we cheers for the rest of this podcast, let's not bang the table.
Yeah,
that's probably not great for the audio listeners.
I also don't have my dad's sound mute button.
Dad sound mute button. What's that? Oh, while we were doing while we were doing the remote podcasts, Brent, I've come to learn, is a very burpy, coffee, sniffly.
I have come to learn this because of this fucking podcast.
So
editing the first 2 are like the worst things of my life.
Yeah. So there was one thing. It might have been in episode 4 or 5 where you fully just had to leave. He had a full coughing fit. And I was on this big rant about something, and he came back and he's like, "I missed all of that." Like, all right, gotcha. Glad to know that this is
that was
two-sided
different though, because
affair.
I actually inhaled my beverage at that point.
That's true. I mean, which is fair, but it's a part and parcel with you as a human being, I suppose.
True.
So as we're talking about the pandemic thing and kind of getting to slowly see each other again, just for anyone that is wondering, it's like, you guys shouldn't be out seeing each other. What the hell are you doing? You're going to kill everybody. You're allowed in Toronto now to have groups of 5 or less. And there is myself and Brent and producer Gabby, who's right there.
Producer Gabby. For a quick math, that's 3.
That's 3.
And our cat.
That's right. But yeah.
He's fine. He's sleeping.
He's doing great. But yeah, so we're talking about the whole pandemic and the trapped inside and not doing that anymore. This being a gaming podcast and all, what did you, was there any games that kind of you can lend favor to for getting you through the whole thing? Like, did you sink your teeth into, did you dive your teeth?
Did I dive my teeth into any games?
Into any new games, or did you kind of found a new love for anything, or like how did you spend those days as far as gaming goes?
Well, as mentioned in a previous episode, I have been playing Battle for Bikini Bottom more.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of stuck on learning some techniques, and I got frustrated and stopped.
Okay.
Other than that, I am in my usual routine of either Halo, Call of Duty, or Apex.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing is out right now.
No, there's no like
so many good games forecasted right now, but
But as for being out right now, we've talked about that a little bit. How it's the lay of the land as far as gaming goes, especially when it comes to anything online multiplayer, shooter, that kind of thing. It's we're in a bit of a stale place right now, right? Like I was saying talking with some friends, like on stream and just through Discord and stuff, where it's like, if the most fun I see any of my friends having playing games is through Warzone or Valorant, it's like, man, like, not that these games are bad, because they're not bad. Like, they're definitely not. Like, and they're fun in their own right, but there's like, they're not sick.
No.
Like, it's not like, I can't believe, like, if someone isn't playing one of those games, you have to be like, dude, you have to check this game out. They're so good. It's just like, they feel very placeholder-y. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next game to like change.
The next thing,
The next
right?
game to change the game. You know?
Right? Yeah, no, for sure. It's weird. And I don't know, like, as far as like, as far as, like, again, if like staying in that multiplayer FPS online competitive type thing, like, I think Valorant was the hype, and it's just like, it's fine, right? Like, it definitely set out what it was trying to do.
A game.
It is a game. And it's like, I get why people enjoy it, but like, it's not gonna, like you said, change the game or reinvent the wheel or like blow people out of the water. It's just like, yeah, okay, this is fine. And but Warzone is very similar as well, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, Warzone is like, it's a Call of Duty BR, and it's good, it's serviceable. There's nothing wrong with it.
It certainly is a lot of fun.
It is. No, absolutely, it's fun. But it's again, it's not this thing where it's like, if you had a friend who just got a PC and said, what game do I play? You're like, dude, you have to get Warzone. You have to. It's insane. It's just like, it's fine.
Okay, what do you tell them you have to get right now?
That's just it, man.
We're in purgatory for games.
Actually, there was a friend of ours who just got, he upgraded his PC, so he's looking for like more. He was looking forward to Valorant, right? Mm-hmm. To be like, Valorant's my main game, and 666, like, hyped like a lot of people were. And it's just like, no, it's fine. I'd play it with friends, like we talked about on the podcast, right? Where it's like, I'd play it with some friends, like, that's fine. It's good enough. But because everyone doesn't love it as much as people are kind of thinking, it's more so like, okay, he only plays like at nights. He was like, man, I need some, like, what other games are out to even play, and just looking for suggestions. So he posted that in my Discord, just like, guys, give me some suggestions for like single player games to play, because nothing on multiplayer is like super interesting right now, and I only want to play with friends. But if friends aren't on, I want something to do. And people were still literally recommending like Skyrim, Witcher 3.
They're so old, but it's just a testament to like just how good.
So like right now, there's just I was like, BioShock Remastered, I guess, right? Like, that'd be great. I was like I'm playing Far Cry 5 right now, so like I'm falling into that. Like, that game's like a year and a half old too. It's like, that's what I'm playing, is Far Cry 5, and it's just like, yeah, I think it was like Skyrim was suggested, BioShock. There's like a couple others, like play the Mass Effect series. You know what I mean? Like, these kind of things where it's just like, there's nothing that's just gonna blow anyone out of the water right now. Again, like I said, Witcher 3, like those kind of things. If you want to play RPGs, like Divinity, Original Sin, like those games, as far as RPGs go, are great. But it's like, but they're all 2 years old or more. Like, Skyrim is like 10 years old. Like, it's crazy that Skyrim can be that old and it's still like maybe one of the most immersive games you could possibly play.
I know, it just makes me excited for the next one.
Oh my god! I don't know if you've seen that. I think it was this week. It was put out that like what the Bethesda developers were like, it's years away.
Yeah, we're not getting it anytime soon.
No. But that's fine.
It's good and bad, because it's gonna be. I'm all for developers taking their time.
Absolutely.
Don't rush shit. Mm-hmm. Do it right and release it right.
I would much rather wait on a game than have it rushed. Like, that was like when Last of Us 2 got delayed.
Yeah.
For like, it was like delayed by like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that. And I was like, man, I've waited like 4 years. I could wait another 8 weeks, especially if that means like there's a couple little bugs we need to work out, or some things with polishing that we need to do. before he pushed it out, and it's like, man, I'm totally fine. I would rather
And
wait.
it's the same with Cyberpunk 2077.
Exactly.
Like it was supposed to release in April,
Something like that, yeah.
and now it's October.
That's right. Yeah.
Like 6 months.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Like
But,
if
Ben-
it's delay it 6 months.
Yeah.
Don't delay it in April and have it broken.
Yeah,
Please.
don't do like I think we talked about last week or the week before. It's like, don't put out another game that has a day one patch that's 15 gigs,
Yeah.
and then you have to patch every other week because there's a billion bugs going on. Like, just don't do that. Companies need to get away from that, especially in single player games.
Oh yeah, you can't afford that in single player games. But if you're going to release a game that has potential to like Skyrim that you're playing 10 years later, then yeah, do a 5-6 month delay to make sure it's right.
Absolutely. And like with Skyrim, like that all being said, like with Skyrim, like especially now and with PC, I mean, actually they even have mod support on consoles, which is like insane that they have that. But like on PC, you can get like the HD version,
Yeah.
then add 20 or 30 mods. And it's like it improves combat, it adds like weather effects, a better map, a more like
The mods for Skyrim are crazy.
Yeah.
You can get full nude mods if you want.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, you can get rid. I mean, you can have Macho Man Randy Savage as the dragon if you want to. Like, you can get a little crazy with it, but if you want like something that feels relatively modern, like if you want to go, I want just realist, like just like game improving mods, and you don't want to get like wacky with anything, you can legitimately mod that game to where it's like, okay, it doesn't look new, but like it looks pretty good.
The updates.
Yeah, they add
The
like
texture updates and the visual update.
well,
mods
they've
are
added like
crazy.
full spell trees. Like there's new spells with full animations, and like they've like improved on the existing animations. Like if you throw like a fireball or whatever, they've like made it so it's like more extravagant and really like there's like weight behind it and like all this kind of stuff. It's like you can't fix like this stuff that's rooted deep in the engine of the game, but like the modders have gone friggin' crazy with that game. And like again, for this friend of mine who like has never played Skyrim, I don't think, which is like weird, but he's also an infant, so like, you know, whatever. Shout out Cam.
Oh, I know Cam.
Yeah.
We played PUBG together.
Exactly. Yes.
Shout out Cam.
Shout out Cam. So, but if he's never played Skyrim before and he had the time and wanted to like download Vortex, which is like that modding software or whatever, and just throw the 10 or 15 most popular mods on it, like you don't even really need to research it really because they have like 10,000 upvotes. So it's like this is probably pretty safe, right?
Can you imagine if Bethesda actually put mod support in instead of like hacky mod support?
What do you mean?
Oh, I might be completely wrong here, and you can correct me in the comments. But like Skyrim doesn't have actual mod support. It's all like quote unquote hacked into the game. It's not like Minecraft where there's an API for developing mods for the server to make things.
Okay, yeah, I
Like, there's
think that's right.
There's
But-
no mod API for Skyrim. It's just like really smart programmers.
I think so, but like if you have even Skyrim on console, on like the main menu is an option for mods.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm completely wrong.
You
then.
might, and I just don't know enough about like the programming side of things to actually like even say whether that's the truth or not. I just don't really know.
Okay, I could be wrong. If
Yeah.
it's console supported, then they have mod support.
Yeah,
'Cause
but-
you can't mod consoles.
No, well, and that's just it. But like that being said, they could have just like released some kind of third party, or I guess it would be first party software. So like, hey, modders, use this. And then submit it through this thing, and if we approve it, then you can. So it might actually.
That'd be cool.
I just
I just want to
genuinely
see
don't know.
like every game have mod support.
Dude,
'Cause
it's my
mod, like the modding community has brought so many games that would have failed into like games like Dota.
Yep. Like I think we talked about it last week, right? Where
Dota,
it's-
League of Legends would not exist without modding.
No, absolutely. Like that
Dota 2 would not
whole
exist.
like the MOBA genre would not exist.
Yeah.
The BR genre would not exist. Like they all came from modding communities. And like I mean, I've talked about this a few times now on the podcast where it's like the issue with the PUBG developers, and it's like at this point they just need to add modding support to PUBG, and I guarantee you within 2 or 3 months that game will be better than it's ever been, and most issues will be fixed just by modders.
Oh, you
like
can't,
they'll just like
you can't like underestimate the power of a community that loves a game.
Absolutely not. And the thing about that, and I've spoke about this before in various, like, talking about like musicians and stuff like that as well, right? Where it's like the best computer programmer is in the world is definitely some 15-year-old kid in his mom's basement somewhere. But legitimately, it is funny to say, but like legitimately, the best game developer is probably some 17-year-old kid.
I would say
in high
probably
school
the most creative developer.
Fair enough. But you know what I mean? Where it's like if you open up that modding support for some game that people are fanatical about, and you get 50 of these whiz kid people who have like their on summer vacation from school, they have literally nothing to do. They have 2 months to just day and night. They don't work just 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they'll just spend thousands and thousands of hours doing this stuff. That's like what they do. And that's like, I think it's foolish to not open up modding support.
Every game should have modding support.
Do you think every game should have it? Like legitimately?
Okay, maybe not off the bat. I get the argument that a lot of game developers want the user to experience the game that they developed.
This is our vision.
Maybe a year, 2 years down the line, when the one that gets dying off,
Like PUBG.
open up mod support.
PUBG is so ripe for men. I legitimately think that PUBG is in the perfect spot to open up to do like a test run even on modding support.
You imagine what every breakthrough game type has been through modding.
Yeah, in the last.
Can you imagine if they opened up it for PUBG and like what the next player unknown?
Well, that's like player unknown was literally a modder. That's like actually.
Yeah. But the next player unknown takes PUBG now that has mod support and creates
the next thing.
Player known.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Battle Underground or something.
Yeah, and just but like legitimately just takes that PUBG idea and just because. If anyone's listening to this who's a PUBG fan, just like knows the whole spaghetti code thing, right? Like they can't fix one thing without breaking 10 other things because it's just all. It's like they threw it all together and somehow it worked, and they're like,
yeah.
Don't no one touch anything. This is running. Don't.
I know that
anything.
feeling.
And that's
way too much.
That's absolutely what happened with PUBG. And the developers that are on it just like don't. There's not. I've said this before. Like I'm sure they love the game and I'm sure they want it to be great. They want it to be successful and that kind of stuff. I just don't think they're genuinely talented enough. And that's fun. That's also okay, right? Like I've worked with people and we all know people who are like they love being a guitar player, but they're just like not really good. Like they're okay, but it's just like. You're just not great. Like
There's
you're not going to be a famous guitar player.
Passion and talent.
Yes, you're not going to be a famous guitar player. You're serviceable and it's fine and like you can do the job and that's great.
Yeah.
But like, and I think that's what the developers at Bluehole or whatever are. It's just like they're probably really passionate and they love PUBG and they want it to be gigantic. I mean, it's like the 5th most sold game of all time. It is gigantic, but they want it to be great, but they just don't know how to fix it. And they're like too prideful or they have like horse blinders on to just not realize all the issues. And if you open something like that up to mod support, it's just like guaranteed by the end of the summer,
it's just gonna get all your issues fixed for free.
Yes, it's free help. It literally is what
it's like anybody who knows what open source software is and why companies release a lot of open source software. Mm-hmm. It gets all the problems solved for free. It's also really good for the community.
Yeah.
I love open source software, but just like open up to mod support, and when then someone else makes it better, boom.
I've heard this. This was I heard. I was having some conversation with some friends the other day, and they were talking about how apparently PUBG runs. And I'm sorry, this is like turned into a PUBG rant. Like that's not intentional,
great.
But
we're a video game podcast.
I mean, that's true. But they were apparently PUBG runs on an old version of the Unreal Engine. Like they haven't updated it when Unreal Engine has released updates. And there's like on the like Reddit forums and stuff, there's like legit game developers who are like, if you just update it to the current Unreal Engine, it'll fix all these issues.
I would imagine that is not an easy task.
But they can't. Apparently, they can't update it because, well, the thought in this conversation, the thought process was if they did update it, it would fix all these issues. Yes, but because of the way it's coded, it'll break 10,000 things.
Yeah, I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah.
Coming from a web development background and using like a web, like this is like 100 times simpler than something like the Unreal Engine, and just trying to upgrade for anybody out there like a Laravel installation from 6 to 7. If you did not do it right, like in previous versions, and this is 100 times simpler than doing something like Unreal. It's just not
like
plausible.
everything. Like it compounds. It's like, yes, we fix these 100 issues, which are great for the front facing consumer. But on the back end, it's going to annihilate everything we have.
Yeah, but that also comes down to the developer not using the platform or the engine, like quote unquote correctly.
No, it definitely.
From the beginning.
like the thing with PUBG is it was an Arma mod, was where BRs came from, and it was just a ragtag group of developers and friends and random contractors to put PUBG together. Like PlayerUnknown was like the creative, had like the vision, and just like I don't make games, but I know this modder and this modder and this guy who's like an independent game developer and this person, get them all together, and then like find some small upstart that happened to be in Korea, and like, okay, they have a team of developers and I can set the vision, we can do it. But I guess one thing is that the BR genre wasn't the thing. So it's like, how the fuck do you code a BR? So what the hell is a BR?
I mean, when you look at it, there's obviously a lot of coding problems.
Yes.
The map is fucking huge. There's 150 to
100 players in PUBG.
Plus players.
A lot of stuff going on. Like, and I know, like, obviously, because if you're like the one character being, on the far west end, it still has to register that someone on the far east end died or explode. Like if someone died by an explosion, it has to register that grenade explosion, that person died. And there's
a lot of really fun programming problem solving.
A lot of, but that's what you just said, a key word. A lot of really fun problem solving.
Because it's what I do on a daily basis.
But modders would love to tackle that stuff. Like I feel like there's like modders who are just like chomping at the bit. Like, please just let me fix this. I know how to do it.
I have a lot of people, like I have ideas how to fix that in my brain right now, just talking about it. And I don't know, I played with Gabby a lot of Fortnite. Blah, 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 blah.
Classic
a bunch
brand.
Of Fortnite lately.
Yeah.
And that game runs like a fucking dream.
Yes.
That game runs absolutely incredible.
Yep. But Epic has...
And that is because
way more
they
money.
Solved those problems.
Yeah, because they have better developers.
And even Call of Duty, which has a bigger map, if I'm not mistaken, and
I think the Warzone... It definitely has more players. I think the Warzone map is bigger than the Fortnite map.
Oh, Fortnite. I'm talking about PUBG.
Oh, no.
Is
Jesus,
it not?
Jesus Christ,
fuck.
No, it's not even close.
Okay, I've played 15 games.
No, it's okay.
PUBG.
No, it's okay. Yeah. No. That's one of the things with PUBG is that the maps are gigantic.
Yeah.
Like I think like the Warzone map, you could probably fit. I'd say you could fit 4 Warzone maps in the biggest PUBG map.
Okay, fair enough. But that whole map, it doesn't need to be loaded at once.
No,
like
yes, yeah.
Map percentage.
That's like a
loaded
rendering
at
thing,
one,
right?
At one time, I would imagine across all BRs are the same.
Maybe
because if the player count is like roughly the same, I don't know. I'm going in like stuff that doesn't be talked about right now.
No, that's fine.
PUBG can be optimized to play well.
No, and that's what we're trying to get to is that yes, absolutely. It's like if and again, that's why I say I just don't think the developers at like the PUBG developers I just don't think they're talented enough. Again, which is fine. Like it's okay for someone to not be the absolute best game developer in the world.
Though. Like,
dude, it's
if one of you sees this, we still love you. We're not trying to shit on you too much.
And but I say this, and I try to come across like I'm not shitting on it because PUBG is probably like I think at this point legitimately my favorite game of all time. Like it's like BioShock, Skyrim, Fallout 3, PUBG. Like those are my 4, and PUBG might be at the top. Like it's like very, 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 very close.
I have a lot of respect for PUBG for what they have done. It's one of the they have the game has created a new genre, and
Absolutely.
that is super.
And that genre
rare.
exploded. It's a multi-billion-dollar genre.
Yeah, and it's super rare, and you can have nothing but respect for
And
that.
it is like, if anyone who's played PUBG at all, like despite if you try to cut away all the issues, and there's Lord knows there's plenty, it is the shooting mechanics and the feeling of killing someone in PUBG is better than any game that's ever existed, and I genuinely believe that, and that's why I think it's my one of my favorite games of all time.
It does feel great.
It's just because it's hard, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like in COD, you could especially on console, there's like aim assists and everything on console. Like
aim assist is not as good as you think it is.
but it's there.
It is.
Right? But what all I'm trying to say is that even on mouse and keyboard, if you're playing Warzone and you shoot at somebody, you can almost hit the mouse with just your finger and not adjust the mouse at all. Like you could as far as recoil control goes. Like it's almost just a laser beam every gun. Almost. It's not quite, but almost. Whereas in PUBG, you really if I'm playing PUBG, you really have to drag your hand. You really have the recoil control is a skill.
That's true.
It's a genuine skill. So that's why when you kill someone with either a full auto spray or some kind of DMR or something like that, and you kill someone, it's like, I actually control that recoil really good. So the skill that I've developed from playing this game actually worked, and I did it better than this person, not just I held down the trigger first.
Yeah.
So I win.
I
right?
definitely felt that playing PUBG.
Right.
Myself.
There's a thing about PUBG, and then because it is so hard, when you win a game, it's like, holy crap. There's this rush that you get from winning a game of PUBG, again, despite all the issues, and that now I've gone from shitting on to fanboying over it. But it's there's something, that's why it's a game that should have been dead years ago, but hasn't died, because the one thing that they nailed is the gunplay. And the gunplay is, I legitimately think, is the best that there's ever been in any FPS that's ever existed.
Yeah, okay.
I legitimately think
best
that.
as in it feels the most realistic.
Yes, yeah. And it's again, it's just not easy. If there's any actual PUBG players who are listening to this, if you put on the barrel and you don't have some kind of grip and you don't pull your mouse down, it's just in 5 shots you're shooting the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's and it's just shooting this. It just shoots straight up. So you really have to really drag your mouse down to even potentially hit somebody. It's nuts.
I remember that one time. So this is gonna riff off of your pull the mouse down thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember the DPI of my mouse and how you almost?
No. Yeah, I think it's the first time we play it. What were we playing? And
I don't remember, but you said I moved my mouse a millimeter.
Yeah, and you did a 180.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
And I'm like, why am I so bad at PC first-person shooters?
It's because you can't aim at anything. It's you have to move your... You have to... I guess, and again, anyone listening that's, an avid PC FPS player knows that, you shouldn't move your mouse with your wrist, right? I think that's the conversation we had, right?
I move it with my fingers.
Yeah, you move it with, you don't even move your wrist.
No,
it's like the bones in your hand. It's weird.
I finger claw and I can't. This makes no sense.
Yeah,
but
it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Whereas with me, if people will know, if you're listening to this through the audio version, you'll know that if you're playing on PC and you're playing FPS, the swipe to do a 360 should be a foot. Probably.
Oh, that
or
I can't do that.
And I couldn't.
I come from Dota, where I need to have those
very quick,
click, it's literally for audio listeners, like
a little flick,
yeah. to move the screen, little flick, up and down. I'm not going to be moving.
Oh my god, dude, that was so loud. Oh my god.
I'm not going to be moving my arm.
Brant just destroyed his elbow.
My elbow. And this is why I don't do that.
This is why Brant isn't a PC gamer, because if he did, he wouldn't have. He'd be a what's it called if you can't use one arm anymore? Something pelagic.
No, Uno armopelagic?
Uno armopelagic, I don't think is the right word.
Medical term. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Make sure to cut that out.
My arm is actually hurting a lot.
Let's give it a second.
No, keep going. None of this is getting edited out. What are we talking about?
But yes, yeah, Brand's mouse play was hilariously subpar.
If a mouse is slow, I'm gonna break the computer.
So it took me because I used to play at a lot higher DPI because I was same thing. I was playing League of Legends and it was like it needs to be quick and like very very snappy and that kind of thing. And it was playing a MOBA versus playing an FPS or playing a BR or whatever. They're two very different mouse movements. So it took me a while to get used to it, but once I did, it was like, oh, now it makes sense.
I would imagine that that's the case. I truthfully just do not want to put in the energy to learn it.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, because something like PUBG didn't sink its teeth into you, right? But if it did, you'd be like that's when you get into, you're on Reddit and you're like, okay, I watch whoever play. What settings do they use? They use this, and you try it. Okay, why do they use these settings? You're reading forums and you're looking up YouTube videos as to what are the best set. Like you're lowering your graphics and you're turning off anti-aliasing just so that you can see people better. And you're getting once you start getting into you're changing your NVIDIA control panel so that you're turning, you know what I mean? Like you're changing the brightness settings on your NVIDIA control panel because that makes it easier to see people. That's when you know it's got your teeth into you. And that's what happened to me with PUBG. So that's how we got into even understanding why aim sensitivity and DPI even mattered. Because before that, I was just like, whatever the default is, I'll get used to it, I guess, for that game. But then it's like, hang on, I'm not playing this game for 40 hours like you play most games. I'm playing it for 1,000 hours. It's like, I should probably figure out the most optimal way to play. And mouse settings is also very specific to the person, I suppose. What I like wouldn't be what you like, or might not be what you like. There are some people who play on really high DPI. I know Halifax plays on 1600 DPI, which is disgusting. And but everyone makes fun of him for it well. But he's really good.
There's a lot of that with controllers as well. Only it's kind of the opposite. Because if you play on 1 sensitivity on a controller, you get made fun of it. But if you play on 10 cents on a fucking controller,
that's weird. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird. So there are those outliers for sure, right? But I think it does take that game for you to be to become genuinely obsessed with, for you to start looking into even why you should have a different DPI, or why did I buy a bigger mouse mat? It's because now I'm dragging my mouse halfway across my desk. It's okay, so now I have a mouse mat that's you know what I mean? It's
big,
gigantic.
Yeah.
It's 2 feet long kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't even have one.
Yeah, Brant doesn't even have a mouse mat. So there you go, guys. That's why Brant plays on console.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a mouse mat.
Don't even have a mouse mat. That's the if I had a mouse mat, I'd be PC gamer.
Dude, you would. But I think that is what it takes. It does take that game, and that game for me happened to be PUBG. For some people, it's Fortnite. For some people, it's whatever. It can be any game, whatever the game may be. For you to really start to get into that nitty gritty of how do I perfect what I'm doing, or how do I give myself the best odds of being successful, I suppose is probably the better way to put it, right?
Put in the time.
Put in the time, there's no doubt. It's actually weird too to think that I haven't played PUBG in a little over a month now. I decided to take a full season off to just kind of give it its, give myself a break, step back, try and enjoy some other things. Haven't really enjoyed anything else very much, to be honest.
Have you put any hours into Apex at all?
Yeah, when Apex first came out, I played it for like a month maybe. And like it is good. It is good. It's
really.
Yes, it is.
I
good.
really do
Yeah.
enjoy it. I have a ton of hours in Apex.
The TTK turned me off of Apex.
I liked Apex because of the TTK.
But see, that doesn't surprise me because you're a Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the
It's a
TTK
long
in Halo is the
TTK.
long whereas PUBG is like fucking instant.
Yeah.
When it's not instant, but it's like pretty fast.
I favor long TTKs because it kind of, I guess the plays, if it's a short TTK versus a long one, the plays are different. But I really like...
it's a different mindset, yeah.
I really like the plays that come out of a longer one.
That's fair. And that's really fair. See, whereas I get frustrated, if I put the better part of a clip in someone and don't kill them, I get frustrated. Like even in Warzone, I get frustrated with that, where it's like I hit someone with not every shot, but like most of the shots.
I feel like Warzone is too long.
But
even though it's Call of
Warzone's not as long as Apex, though.
No, but Apex is way longer than Warzone.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
No, but I still feel like Warzone is too long.
Yes. No, I agree. I think
For the style of game,
absolutely.
like I've unloaded entire mags into people, and they're like, "I'm gonna continue running,"
Like,
and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
So that's when I get mad. I get pissed off in BRs again because BRs are so specific where it's like one person wins. So every fight is very, very important. So it's like if I, again, hit most of my shots in a clip and I only broke their armor in Warzone, I'm like, that is insane that person's not dead.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like, no one should be caught out that much and then get hit with that many shots and still be able to replenish their armor before I can even get around the building. It's just like that stuff, that kind of stuff.
Like either have a short TTK, a long TTK, but don't have the awkward Warzone middle zone.
It is a very middle
like
zone.
it's a very awkward
Yeah.
TTK in
Yeah.
Warzone in my like experience.
I guess with Warzone with the TTK, it's like it's weird because you never know, because I think the headshot multiplier in Warzone is pretty high. So it's like if you hit 2 headshots, you can drop them in a second.
Same with Apex.
Is it? Okay, fair
like
enough.
Apex,
Okay, yeah.
I got fucking the game that Gabby and I played the other day. Full purple shield, full health, one shot, full dead.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Where if it was a fight, like a 1v1 fight could easily last 10 to 12 seconds.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And that's like even longer than that. I've had 1v1 fights last probably 30 seconds.
Or minutes,
Apex.
I guess. Like if you're running around.
If you have a
and
lot of
healing
regen on you and you know your positioning, you can fight 1v1 for minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've watched some people playing where like some like really good streamers, and it's just like one fight has been going on a long time.
I love that though.
Yeah. And that's
like
that's
it's
legit.
fucking sick because you come out of that and you're like, holy shit, because you're repositioning. You're like, you know where they are. They break your shields. You have to get somewhere else to get your shield up, and then you pop out and you break theirs, and it's like a back and forth like that. That's my favorite.
No,
part.
for sure. So here's my counter argument to those long TTKs is that because I play BRs pretty aggressively, like I want to push.
You can do that though.
But here's my thing. It's like if I push and my team doesn't push with me in PUBG in a game with I shouldn't just say PUBG, in a game with a short TTK, I can 1v2 or 1v3 if I'm good enough.
Yeah. 100%.
But in something like Apex or Warzone, it's almost impossible to 1v3.
You absolutely need your team. You absolutely can.
Yes.
It's just way like it's
the
very
situation
tricky.
has to be very, very specific in order to do it. Or like, I mean, but even with like the best of the best, it's like if the whole team of 3 is right there, boy, oh boy. It's hard in PUBG too, but you can do it because like in PUBG, if you have a mag of 30, with one mag of an AK with 30, you can down 3 people.
Yeah.
right? Like,
With
for sure.
1 meg in Apex, if they have a purple shield, you might down one
Maybe.
person.
So then you have to reload, and because you got hit, you have to like replenish your armor and all
And
that
then
kind
use
of
your
stuff.
special. And that's why I love, like,
Yeah.
because they have that Overwatch-esque thing where every character is different.
Has their
different
abilities. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fucking shout out to Season 5 Loba, who is going to get nerfed real soon, in my opinion.
Broken character. Yeah. I haven't
I
seen
wouldn't
it. I
say
have no idea.
broken, but I've used her. I don't know. Gabby and I played with her. I think we played like 10 games, Gabby, could you say?
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like right now she's pretty overpowered.
Yeah. Okay. Sick.
You can go, like, it's awesome.
Hmm.
She's going to be my main from now on because her abilities are, like, perfectly suited. Like, her and Octane are perfect.
To your playstyle kind of thing. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can throw, like, this ring, and then you teleport to where that ring is.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
That's her, like, that's every 30 seconds.
Right.
Which is crazy because I escaped so many times. They're like, oh, I'm fucking dead. Throw it. I'm over there.
Right. Gone.
Fine.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
And then
Yeah,
her
yeah.
ultimate is crazy. You go into the middle of, like, you just throw it down and it gets all the loot in the area and you can pick 2 of them.
Okay.
Everyone in your team can pick 2 of them.
Okay.
And your
interesting.
passive is you see every epic and legendary item,
Like on the map?
like through walls and shit.
No shit. Okay.
Within a radius, but
Yeah,
your
yeah,
ultimate
yeah,
spans
yeah.
the same radius.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're going into an area and you're like, I need that. You know where to run.
And I'm gone. Yeah.
And then,
that's sick.
then
Yeah,
you're
that's
in a
cool.
fucking bind. You're like, okay, I need to loot this area. Throw your shit down and loot everything remotely. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
That's cool. That's really neat. I
Really
should
cool
check that out. Yeah,
abilities.
yeah, yeah.
Really cool abilities, but I think it might be a little overpowered
Yeah.
at the moment. But I mean, balancing is always a little iffy.
Yeah, but they've been pretty good at like releasing regular patches and like constant content and that. Like they've done fairly well. It's Respawn does.
It's been really good, and like the
Apex, right?
map has been evolving every season. Like,
Right,
it's
yeah,
really.
yeah.
It's, I have to really appreciate Respawn for the forethought for like. So it was like Kings Canyon,
Mm-hmm.
and then season 2 is King Canyon. Like parts were destroyed.
Right.
Like it's the same map, but it's evolving.
I think that's the better move for like the evolution of BRs. Whereas like again, PUBG is the OG BR. It's the first one to do it, and they've added new maps. And like I do like there being a map rotation, but now they have 5 maps.
Oh wow.
And I think that might be too many. Like I think they should probably have 3. Okay, so here's what I think they should do. So they have the 5 maps. If every season they took away 2, worked on them, remastered them, adjusted them like they do in every other like in Fortnite and in Apex, and they just change the map.
I think Apex is doing it. Like I think Respawn is doing the maps. Like
No, I think it's a good
how
idea.
it should be done.
And then a new
In my
season comes out. You take away 2 maps, leave 1, put in the 2 ones that you just remastered in the last season, and then same thing. Just keep rotating those 3 maps with new ones coming in every season. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that the adjusting current maps is a better game plan than adding completely new ones.
yeah, because they don't just change the map for the sake of changing the maps.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously they're getting a shitload of data, and they're modifying the maps based on the data.
Right, but it also
But you
hits people
can't-
with a bit of nostalgia too, right? Like
you-
returning players, like, oh, I remember whatever this area may be, but it's just different.
And this season it's hard. They put heartbreak in this season because they've put like Skulltown. Anyone who's played like Apex, they know Skulltown. That's underwater now. It's
Right.
gone. Like that whole part of the map is carved out and broken, and there's a big crane like taking the remnants of Skulltown out.
Right, that's cool. Yeah,
And like that's fucking cool. The fucking Thunderdome. I know it's not called the Thunderdome. I always call it the Thunderdome.
But yeah.
That's gone now. Like it's underwater.
that's sick. Like, but stuff like that is cool because it's like, hey, I remember playing down there that's underwater now. So it's like, hell yeah, that's sick. Whereas if you add a new map, it's like, well, what's all this then?
You can't balance maps if you just keep adding them and you don't change them. Like, map balance is a huge thing.
It is. And you need data for that, right?
And when your map is ginormous, like, you have to compile that data.
It's like 8 by 8 kilometers long.
Yeah.
Like, it's gigantic.
You have to modify the current maps.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. I think that is, like, I've thought a lot about that, the evolution of BRs over the past a little bit, like, again, since I've stopped playing PUBG and just been, like, just thinking about it now and then, where it's like PUBG is still, it hasn't changed gameplay wise a whole lot, but like other BRs have added like respawn features and like how the ability to redeploy parachutes, these kind of things, and not having to find a new armor, you can just replenish it as you're going. Like, these are all evolutions of the BR genre, right?
Yeah.
Evolutions, or I guess de-evolutions, depending on where you stand. But like, for the most part, they're evolutions, right? Or having one map and just changing that one map and that kind of thing. And PUBG has done like none of those things. So it's just like, it's really interesting to see, like you said, like that idea of, do we need 5 maps or do we need one map that we just keep changing?
Well, Apex has 2 maps.
2 maps that you keep changing. Whatever it may be, right?
I have to riff on this a little bit because I love it. Because they're not just changing the map, because they know the data. And they know what is hot, what's not, and what's happening where. They're not just like, oh, here's the new map.
Right.
It's like they build out the map design into the lore.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like this part got destroyed, and now it's getting mined out, and like blah blah blah.
Like, there's like a story
this
behind
quiet
it.
part that was very quiet that I dropped to a lot because it was quiet.
Yeah.
Is no longer quiet because now it's like there's a whole new facility built there for something. Like, they're taking a very smart approach to balancing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that it's for balancing.
Right, yeah,
and I think that's the smartest thing you can do.
I guess there's something about map design that a lot of people wouldn't know about if they're not into some kind of programming or like deep into the statistics of all that kind of stuff, right?
I could be completely wrong too.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, when it comes to like if you think of any game balancing a map, the changes are usually based off statistics, right?
Yeah, and usually the update is like, oh, we changed the map because we had to balance A, B, and Z.
That's right. Yeah. It's like this area of this part of the map was unfair if you were coming from the west versus if you were on the east, you were at a huge disadvantage because of whatever.
And they kind of make it obvious that the map change was a balance change.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think I really like how Respawn is doing the changes per season. It's all balance changes, but it's not obviously balance changes,
right?
And I really like that.
Yeah, no, I do genuinely think Respawn like has done a hell of a job, and I think Apex. I do think Apex is a really, really good game. It's like, I think they have a very, very good vision.
Yeah,
it's like there's just this weird balance when you start bringing in the abilities stuff, and you start bringing in, again, you just change the TTK from what BR started out as, and it's like what actually works. I feel like with BR specifically, there's a lot of nuances that like
100%.
Make it or break it very, very easily, and the TTK and the abilities and those kind of things are part of it for sure.
But if you don't like long TTKs, then
don't play Apex.
Don't play
of
Apex.
Course. And thankfully, there's a whole bunch of BRs. If
you have
that,
special abilities, you have to have long TTKs.
No, you're right. Absolutely, 100%. You're absolutely right. 100%.
Because that also plays into like the plays. So, like, if you make a good play, you're gonna kill them instantly.
Right. Yes.
It's not always a long TK. If you're running down a field and you get you don't set something up, it's going to be a long fight. But if you have the opportunity to like set something up, you can take out a whole team in a second.
Right. That's fair. That's very, very fair. Let me ask you this now. You mentioned, just like, again, we were talking about how BRs have evolved and like all that kind of thing. With the new Unreal Engine.
Oh.
We'll get into your thoughts of the Unreal Engine in just a second. Actually, why don't we start with this? Why don't we start with your thoughts on the Unreal Engine? Then we'll get into what I want to ask you is, what do you think BRs can do with the new Unreal Engine? Because you know more about programming and that whole shit, and you watched that video and you understand what all the triangles mean, whereas it's just like a bunch of triangles to me. Like, again, you know what I mean? Like, you understand that better than I do. So first, tell me your thoughts on that Unreal Engine 5 reveal trailer, and then we'll get into what you think something like a BR could do with that trailer.
All right, I will. But before we do, I'm going to go pee. So we're going to do a quick cut in the podcast and the video.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Yep.
Welcome back. We are back from our break. We had to relieve our bladders and refill our drinks. Before we left, Jeremy asked me, what do I think of the Unreal 5 engine? I guess it was a demo.
Demo, yeah.
But I think the most important part about that demo, it was a console demo.
So it was apparently, I'm going to say apparently, played off of a PlayStation 5.
It was. They wouldn't lie.
That's what they say. Okay,
they wouldn't lie about that.
Here's
though.
my only concern. And again, I know we talked about this last episode where I was like, the next generation isn't going to look sick. It's just going to be more about immersion. So this might be more me trying to save face than anything else. But my only concern, and maybe it's tinfoil hatty and all that kind of stuff, whereas, is it a PlayStation 5, but it's just is it a modded PlayStation 5? Like, I don't know. Can they do that?
I don't think they would do that.
Maybe not, but
every iteration of the Unreal Engine from like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 has introduced a lot, like a world of opportunity for developers.
Right.
And you also can't forget that the Xbox, the next Xbox, and the Xbox 5 and the PlayStation 5 are powerful consoles.
They are. No, legitimately they are. And I know,
but
like,
CEO of cutting Jeremy off. They're not, like, obviously if you go out and customize a PC and you do all that shit, it's gonna be more powerful than a console. That will always be the case. Mm-hmm. But with this new Unreal Engine 5, they've really illustrated the fact that they have figured out how to optimize geometry.
Right. Yeah. So is that what you got out of that?
Yeah, because
reveal?
Like when they I was not blown away when they revealed the face of the girl.
Like at first it shows her, and it's just like, okay,
I was like, yeah, that's a good looking face.
That's what I was thinking next gen would look like. It's like, okay, it looks a little bit better, it's smoother, and the lighting is better. It's the shadows and that's what I was saying last episode.
Yeah,
it was like, this is what next gen is going to be.
But then when they revealed the fucking environment,
when the rocks started falling down,
and you're like, this is because how do you play most video games? Third person, you don't see the face.
Yep.
And you see the environments. And Unreal Engine 5 really looks like they have figured out, and what they said in that trailer demo.
Yeah,
it's a tech demo. Take it with a grain of salt. Always take tech demos with a grain of salt. It's always up to developers to implement this technology.
Right.
But they have implemented. So okay, here's a little bit of backstory. Unreal Engine has been used in movies because it's really good at creating environments.
Right.
And they use photorealistic, or like, how do they call it? Cinema grade textures. But that takes days to render out. You can't render that real time in a video game.
Right.
And Unreal Engine 5 is they're claiming
that they figured that out.
And then they showed in real time the triangles,
right?
Which is the geometry, to the point where the triangles are pixel size. And that is kind of ridiculous.
So as a layman,
I can't get any more technical than that.
No, I know. No, but as someone who like knows basically nothing about game development, like, is this like low key a gigantic step forward in game development?
I feel like, well, every Unreal Engine thing
has been a gigantic, because Unreal Engine is like, I know there's a bunch, I know there's Frostbite, I know there's a whole bunch of other engines that people use, but Unreal is like the engine that
it's either Unreal Engine or CryEngine,
right, that a large percentage of people use, right? Like, so they've been at the forefront of the I guess the limits of what developers can do starts and stops with the engine they're using, really, right? I mean, obviously there's tech involved as well, but tech is moving at such a rapid pace that a game that starts being developed today, by the time it comes out in 3 years, will be 2.5 years behind.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's kind of like Borderlands 3. Released on Unreal Engine 4, and that was like a huge jump.
Yeah.
And now, 6 months after,
it's like
Unreal Engine 5 is releasing.
Right,
it kind of sucks.
For sure.
But
so it's kind of starts and stops with the engine the developers create. So if every new iteration of Unreal Engine has given developers a whole new palette to paint with, right? That would mean that with this new iteration, Unreal 5, again, if anyone hasn't searched or hasn't seen this video yet, like it's worth your time to watch the entire tech demo. Like, it really, really is, because it's like, put headphones on.
The environment and the sound, you're there.
The sound design blew me away.
The environment, like, both for me, blew me away.
Like there is some things in the environment where the rocks are falling off the little cliff, where it's just like, I can hear everything and you can see every rock falling down. And these are the things that I was, I guess, poorly explaining last episode, where it's like, that's immersion that I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, that actually looks like me walking through this environment because I've created my character so good and the graphics are so photorealistic. It's leaving footprints behind. It's, if you throw water on a fire, it goes out, and the
dynamic world.
Yes, and it feels like I'm in an actual world where it's like, if I want to do something, I can actually do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like, and it's not like, I know like there's been games that have like I know like the latest Zelda game was like fairly good at that kind of stuff. Like, hey, if I want to throw this apple on the fire, I can do that.
Breath of the Wild,
yeah. Or it's like, hey, I wonder if there's this steam coming off the fire. If I put my parachute open, will that do anything? And it does. It actually carries you into the air. It's like, well, that's actually really cool. But like, I want there to be these worlds where it's like, hey, there's a person over there and there's a shopkeeper. That the shopkeeper is just a part of the immersive world. Mm-hmm. But if I want to go buy a fish from them, can I? And you go over and you can. That's the stuff that I want to see. It's like, I want that, like, where it's just like, it has nothing to do with the game at all. It doesn't have to be voice acted or anything. It can just be like, push X to buy fish. And it's like, oh, I actually can? And now I have a fish. And it's like,
have you played Skyrim before?
I have. But not yet. Fuck off, dude. Skyrim's not that immersive. Like, it is immersive. And that's, again, why we talked earlier about how, like...
Well, you're talking about, like, Skyrim is like, that person will always be there. That is a static thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, we want to see it, like, more dynamic. Whereas, like, that fisherman is, like...
just some random person.
He could be on his vacation while you're on a quest somewhere else, and be like, "Can I buy fish?" And he's like, "Dude, fuck you! I'm on vacation."
Yeah, but it's so what I was thinking of, like, when I was describing that, was like playing an Uncharted game, where it's okay. In Uncharted, my goal is to get to the clock tower on the other end of town, and you basically just walk through town, and people are mingling, and there's people buying stuff from the shops. But why can't I buy something from the shops?
Oh yeah,
that's what more so what I'm thinking.
There's definitely a lot of like cities and games.
Yes, where it's like
NPCs
people are doing
doing things
exactly, but they feel lived in exactly. But it's like, why can't I do it?
Yeah,
and it's like, if I want to take an hour to get to that clock tower, why can't I just be someone that's in the town?
But I don't think that's a next gen issue. That's
might be a creativity issue.
That's a creativity.
Yeah, maybe.
That's just a game developer and game design issue.
Being like, no one's going to stop here. It's like,
Yeah.
but what if I wanted to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of the thing. Like,
100%. That's not a next gen
right?
issue.
But I guess the point why I bring up the next gen thing is like, and that you do bring up a good point in saying that that's a creativity thing, which is fair. But it's also like giving developers this many more tools and the ability to make it so much more engaging and so much more immersive. It's like, okay, maybe we can actually, like, maybe that will spark through creativity where it's like, whereas like before it was like, we could do that on like 1 out of 10 people.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it really worth the effort? Like,
Or
is it
maybe
is it worth the 3 weeks of development just to program that one character?
that is the exact problem. And maybe
Right.
now with higher processing and now that like machine learning and quote unquote AI is more of a thing, like maybe next gen games can start implementing machine learning and AI into NPCs and just like you don't program responses into the characters. You just have responses like machine learned into the characters.
Right.
It's not the right term, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like you just tell like the game developer and be like, this NPC is a baker, and that's it.
Right.
Because they have, I don't know how much machine learning knowledge is around, but there's a lot. But just like, that would be interesting. Like, this NPC is a baker. This NPC is a
Blacksmith.
a fisher.
Right. Yeah.
A fishmonger. This NPC is this.
Right.
And you go up and you interact with them, and it's like press X to talk. You press X or whatever your fucking key is, and you talk, and then all the responses are not pre-programmed.
It'd be interesting.
Like that could be really cool.
That's
And
the
we've
kind of
gotten to the
stuff,
point where like processing power is probably good enough. It's just the data. It's just the machine learning that has to get there. And that's going to be real cool when next gen gets to like that point.
That would be absolutely spectacular.
Because as you were saying, like no game developer is going to go through the time to program every single NPC to have a world of responses.
No, of course, yeah. Because with the way it is now, it has to be, you have to like, I know people developers try to build immersive worlds so that, like I was saying earlier, with like an Uncharted game, you're walking through like a bodega somewhere, and it's just like, okay, you can talk to the 5th person, the 12th person, the 17th person, and the 32nd person.
Yeah.
It's just like there's options along the way to make it seem like you have that free will to just shop in the market or whatever it may be. But it's, though that one person is specifically programmed.
Yeah.
So
and every path you take is programmed.
exactly. So it's like you have option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and option 6 is the actual main quest goal, which puts you into the next world.
And the beauty of machine learning is taking programming the responses out and having the program feed the
responses. Man, that would be wild. Can you imagine the stuff that would come out of that? Like the YouTube
that'd
videos?
be so sick.
That would be amazing to have. Like,
Okay, some game developer, please. I know it's in its infancy right now, but please, like that'd be fucking
well,
awesome.
the way to do that is to release some game that's only like it only takes place in a market. Like the entire game is just one tiny or relatively small square that has, it's just a market. So it has 30 shops, 15 on each side. You walk through, you can buy potatoes here, you can buy asparagus here, you can buy fish here, you buy chicken here, whatever it may be. And just go through and just have it a machine learning. It's almost like a tech demo you can buy. It's like just try it out, and just like you have to be able to report your feedback to the developer, and like you have to agree to all the terms and conditions and all this kind of things. Just to like, and just like just build a little. It's almost like a little tiny. It's like a test demo arena. It's like just talk to this one potato seller 500 times.
Just talk to this one potato.
Yeah. But legitimately, like just talk to this one person 500 times and see how many different responses come out and how many times he frigs up. Like, how many times does he say a sentence that doesn't make any sense?
Like there definitely needs to be some sort of phase of training.
Yes, of course.
Every machine learning, every AI, I'm just gonna call it AI. It's machine AI doesn't exist yet. It's all machine learning. They all need to be trained in some way. Start training them so we can make games better.
Yeah. I mean, like, that might be leading us to Skynet, where, like, eventually the robots just rule the world. But, like, I'll be dead by then, so that's fine.
I want to die either from us like developing actual AI and robots taking over, or fucking aliens.
I just want to get. I mean, like, I'd be okay with getting out of here before that started.
No, I want to die to that.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
You want to be in the White House in Independence Day when they blow up the whole thing.
I don't care if I'm in my house stroking my shaft when that happens.
I beg your pardon.
I don't know what you're talking
For
about.
our OnlyFans.
That's how. Like, ideally, if I was going to fantasize my death, which is a super weird phrase to say, it would be to, like, our own robot uprising or aliens.
What would you, if you had to choose one of the two, would you choose aliens or
Either
robots?
or.
You have to. Gun to your head.
Aliens.
Aliens, yeah?
Yeah.
Just to know that there's something else out there.
Yeah. That would be fucking sick.
I feel like the AI thing is more impending.
Yeah, the
than
thing is,
alien
we
thing.
are going to get to true AI.
Yeah.
Aliens are going to be a question until
Well, like,
we
I mean,
meet them.
like, if we're being, like, fully truthful and, like, all cards on the table, like, the AI thing has already happened because, like, obviously Elon Musk is obviously an AI.
True AI.
Like, he's actually just a robot. So, like,
Elon Musk is
like, he's not actually
he's a
human being.
Terminator from the future.
He is, yes. Like, we all know that, and that's fine. So I guess we've already reached that. So the only other option would be the aliens. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's very obvious that
episode 5 real hard.
every one of his responses is like, well, that's been pre-programmed. Like, you can try and
all
fool
seen
me,
his
sir,
fucking
but
kid's name.
yeah, absolute. Anyway,
You know what?
this
I
is an
think-
Elon Musk podcast, but that's fine.
I think this is where we call it.
It is where we call it because we were going to go down to a fucking tangent.
We're gonna tangent forever.
Absolutely. Dudes, thank you guys so much for listening to episode 8. You can find all our other episodes at hotfixpodcast.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. It would mean the world to us. We are also on Apple Podcasts. We're still considered a new podcast. So if you can hit us with a 5-star review if you did enjoy it, that's an absolutely fantastic way to support us.
And if you didn't like it, just give that 5 stars anyway.
If you didn't like it, yeah, just don't be that guy. You know?
Don't be that guy.
Just don't watch it again. That's okay.
Also, we both stream video games on Twitch.
Yep.
So, our links are down below.
There. Find us there. We do really like... I've actually had a couple of people come in and say they've really enjoyed the podcast and got to talk about podcast stuff on my stream, which has been absolutely fantastic. So, again, more of that is more than welcome. It's really cool to be able to talk about this stuff off of stream. But thank you guys for coming to hang out. And
please tell us what we were wrong about.
that's what we're trying. Dude, that's what I've been telling people. What I've been trying to tell people is like watch it. If you don't like it, let me know you don't like it and tell me why.
Yeah,
like it's just like we just
please.
want
That's the best thing you can
constructive
do.
criticism. Just tell us what we're doing wrong, and that's totally fine. And we want to make this because we want the idea is to make this. I don't know what the idea is to make what this is going to turn into, but the idea is to make this as good as possible. So like any kind of constructive criticism, we're all ears. We read all comments. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch streams, wherever it may be. Just let us know. Let us know so we can be better. Someone help us, please.
All
Dude,
right.
I'm so
That
happy to
is
see
the
you again.
end of episode 8, the first episode in a while where we get to talk to each other in person.
Blessed. Absolutely blessed. We said we wouldn't do that.
So, do you want to, come over here and say how fucking amazing we are?
No, I'm not wearing my lashes.
Fuck. Okay, you heard it here, you were here at the beginning though.